In the shadowy corners of justice, some mistakes aren't accidents. They're deliberate, and sometimes the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. Tonight, you're about to uncover a chilling true crime case that isn't just about one wrongful execution. It's about a pattern, a legacy of silence, and a system built not on truth, but power. This is the story of Elias Dawson, a man the state knew was innocent and killed anyway. But what if wasn't the only one? Every story we tell reveals the shadows people try to hide. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe button for more true crime tales from the very edge of human darkness. It happened in broad daylight in October 1997, in a small town of just over 12,000 people. The kind of town where everyone knows everyone, and secrets are easier to hide than expose. Amanda Palmer was a bright 21-year-old college student home for fall break. She's known for her kind heart and fierce intellect. Amanda had dreams of becoming an environmental lawyer. That dream ended one cold, rainy evening when her body was found in the woods behind her parents' home, strangled and mutilated. The news of Amanda's mysterious death sends the town into grave panic. Within 48 hours, the police zeroed in on a suspect, Elias Dawson, Amanda's boyfriend. The media spun a simple narrative describing Elias as troubled young man, jealous lover, crime of passion. But the reality, much darker. There was no physical evidence linking Elias to the scene. No blood, no DNA, no eyewitnesses. Just a heated argument between Elias and Amanda. The night before her death, a confession obtained after 17 hours of relentless interrogation. No lawyer, no recording, just a tired, broken 22-year-old signing a piece of paper. Dawson's trial was a performance. The lead actor, District Attorney Lyle Garrett, known for his spotless conviction record, Garrett was eyeing the Attorney General's office. He painted Elias as a violent man with a temper. The centerpiece, a bloody shirt found near Dawson's home. The star witness, a jailhouse informant named Ricky Boyd. Boyd claimed Elias confessed to everything in vivid detail, from the murder weapon to the location of Amanda's body. But there were problems. The shirt had no trace of Amanda's DNA. Boyd had a long history of trading false testimony for reduced sentences. Still, Elias Dawson's court-appointed attorney barely pushed back. He never called a single expert witness. He didn't challenge the confession. He didn't even question Boyd's credibility. It was a slaughter. The jury returned a guilty verdict in under 4 hours. Elias Dawson was sentenced to death. He would spend the next decade pleading for someone to look deeper into his case. Just when they thought the plot was concluded, here comes Rebecca Cole, a determined light brown-skinned woman in her early 40s. By 2006, she was one of the most feared investigative journalists in the city. Her work had overturned several murder convictions. When she stumbled upon Dawson's case, it felt familiar. Damn too familiar. She filed public record requests, dug through court transcripts, interviewed former judges. What she found surprised her. The forensic expert who testified about the blood stain had been earlier discredited for manipulating evidence in 3 prior trials. In addition, the sealed report, it contained Brandon Keller's name, Amanda's ex-boyfriend and son of the powerful Judge Franklin Keller. Brandon had no alibi. His prints were on a cigarette butt found near Amanda's body. That evidence was never disclosed to the defense, never presented in court. At this point, Rebecca was no longer just reporting. She was hunting the truth. Rebecca's investigation led her to a ghost retired sergeant, Mark Reyes, a weathered Hispanic man in his late 60s with grey hair. He was part of the original investigation. 4 years, he kept his silence. But time, guilt, and the weight of injustice eventually broke him. He revealed everything. According to Mark, Dawson's confession was coerced. He had begged for a lawyer, but was denied. Even the bloody shirt, was switched from another unsolved case. Brandon Keller was the first suspect. But Judge Keller intervened. Mark submitted sworn affidavits. Rebecca published every word. The state was forced to reopen the case. A review was launched. But the State Board of Pardons and Paroles voted 7-0 against clemency. On April 14, 2009, Elias Dawson was executed. His final words, "Tell Amanda's parents I forgive them. But they will never know the truth, because the truth scares the people who buried it." 3 months later, a state lab quietly ran the DNA on that cigarette butt found at the scene of Amanda's death. It matched Brandon Keller. Yet again, the report was sealed. 2 years passed before an anonymous whistleblower leaked the lab findings to several news outlets. Public outrage exploded. Brandon Keller was arrested. His father, Judge Keller, gone. Last seen boarding a private jet to Panama. Brandon accepted a plea deal, second-degree murder. Served 9 years. District Attorney Lyle Garrett resigned quietly. No charges. Sergeant Mark Reyes, who had earlier testified about the false sentence of Elias Dawson, was found dead in his home. The coroner ruled it a suicide. Friends claimed he was being followed before his death. Rebecca Cole, on the other hand, her life was in constant danger from unknown sources. Her apartment broken into. She became scared for her life and decided to move out and relocated. She changed her name and continued writing under aliases. Elias Dawson's family received $100,000 from the state alongside a formal apology, and the supposed justice was buried and never came out. Then came the second leak. This one bigger and deadlier. This one had several court records, transcripts, memos from the DA's office, all tied to 5 other murder cases. All had the same district attorney, Lyle Garrett, the same jailhouse informant, Ricky Boyd, the same discredited forensic expert. All defendants were poor minorities, with rushed trials and no meaningful defense. The investigation became more interesting as Rebecca dug deeper, followed the trail. It was a machine. A system designed to convict the innocents. And it was working. She tracked down witnesses, former attorneys and ex-lab technicians. One former public defender revealed they were threatened with disbarment if they pursued DNA testing. Another source, a retired paralegal from the DA's office, confessed on camera. She was forced to destroy evidence connected to Elias Dawson case. Then bodies of witnesses connected with the case started dropping. First key witness was found in a burned-out car. Another vanished, leaving no trace. However, one case caught Rebecca's attention. It was Devon Briggs. He was convicted in 1998 by the same cartel who convicted Elias. Good thing he was still alive, serving life sentence in an African prison. Rebecca visited Devon in prison. He was thin, grey-haired, quiet. Devon Briggs said to Rebecca, "You're the first one they didn't kill for asking." He whispered. He handed her a folded note, a name, an address. It led to a retired judge living under a false identity in South America. It was Brandon Keller's uncle. Rebecca decided to book a flight to track the lead Devon Briggs gave her. As she boarded the plane, her phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. "Turn back. We buried one truth. We won't hesitate to bury another." She looked up. The camera light on her phone was blinking. Someone was watching. Back in the city, an elderly woman finds a manila envelope in her mailbox. No return address. Inside was a USB drive and a video of Brandon Keller. Alone, drunk and crying. "He didn't do it. I did. I didn't mean to kill Amanda, but I did. My dad said he'd handle it. I didn't think they'd kill Elias." It was time-stamped, dated 3 years before Elias Dawson's execution. It had been sent to District Attorney Lyle Garrett. He never disclosed it. Rebecca published the video anonymously and it went viral. The world now knew. Elias Dawson died, not by mistake, but by design, from a well-organized evil cartel of top powerful people in the city. Following incessant pressure from activists and well-meaning citizens who took interest in the case, a federal task force reopened 38 cases tied to Judge Keller and District Attorney Lyle Garrett. Digital forensics teams accessed old servers. What they found shocked even the most hardened investigators: dozens of emails referencing payments, favors, altered timelines, witness testimonies rewritten, defense attorneys blacklisted. Interpol issued a red notice for Judge Keller. He had been spotted in Switzerland, Panama, and Dubai. Each time, he vanished just days before authorities closed in. Some believe he still operates under a different name protected by the same network that once silenced Elias Dawson. Brandon Keller was released in 2022. He changed his name and disappeared. Amanda Palmer's parents publicly apologized to Elias Dawson's family. "We believe the system. We were wrong." In a 2024 documentary, Elias Dawson's sister, Marsha Dawson, sits before a camera. Calm and composed, "My brother used to say, truth is like a body in the water. You can push it down, tie it up, bury it deep, but it always floats back up." Her voice breaks. Now the world knows, but it cost him his life. She holds up a photo of Elias, crying, unaware of what awaited him. The question is, how many more are still buried? In a system that prides itself on justice, what happens when justice becomes a lie? This isn't just a story. It's a warning. Some wounds never heal, and some truths never rest. If you've been threatened, silenced, or betrayed by a system meant to protect you, know this: fear is their weapon, but truth is yours. Hold on to it, guard it, and one day, let it burn through the lies. Justice may be slow, but when it comes, it leaves no place for the guilty to hide.